The last time was Game 1 of the World Series, and tonight here at Minute Maid Park, a World Series-like atmosphere as Rocket Roger Clemens back on the mound for his 23rd Major League season. Tomorrow he will try and make history and close down Busch Stadium and send the Astros for their first ever World Series. With the Astros in St. Louis, Ray Fisher, WB 39 Sports. Welcome back. The World Series now shifts to Houston for Game 3 tomorrow night, which will take place right behind me, right inside Minute Maid Park. Kubiak was then asked the question that all of Houston wants the answer to. Who will the Texans select with their first pick? Yao Ming made his NBA debut 3 months ago here at the SBC Center in a preseason game. It was a rough outing for Yao, just 6 points and 4 rebounds. And if you're a Texans fan, you definitely like what you saw. The Texans scoring on their first 3 possessions of the game to take a 13-0 lead over Dallas. Things turned bad for Houston this afternoon when they learned that all-star outfielder Lance Berkman tore a ligament in his right knee.
With the first selection in the 2006 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Mario Williams. And with that announcement, Texans top pick Mario Williams was on top of the football world. In the spring of 2003, Williams actually contemplated giving up the sport he loves because of a family tragedy.
My brother-in-law was deployed. His unit was like the first one deployed from Camp Lejeune. And, you know, we had a tragedy there, and, you know, it took a serious blow to the family, but, you know, we talked about it, and I was willing to do whatever I had to do.
Marine Sergeant Nicholas Hodson was killed in a vehicle accident during Operation Iraqi Freedom, leaving Mario's sister without her husband and the father of her children. That's when he stepped in and offered to give up his dream to support the family.
She was devastated. And, you know, it was like, what do we do? You know, especially for her, you know, what do I do? So, you know, I was willing to do whatever I had to do, and she maintained, and I kept, you know, going toward my goal, and ended up in a good position. Now, instead of working a typical 9-to-5 job, Williams' talent will earn him millions here on the football field. What he offered to do for his family was priceless. I was just doing what I felt was right. You know, it wasn't like I was trying to be a hero or anything like that. You know, I look at my nephews like sons, you know, so that's how I saw it. You know, I just want to do whatever I had to do to help them out.
Williams is also trying to help the Texans rebound from a 2-14 season and prove to himself and fans that he was worthy of the #1 pick. In his household, he already had. Ray Fisher, Houston's WB Sports. Tracy McGrady back at practice today. No word yet on if he will be back on the court tomorrow as the Rockets host the Hornets. The last time we saw McGrady, he was being transported to the hospital in an ambulance after suffering back spasms in Houston's game against the Nuggets. McGrady says he feels well enough to play, but is cautious not to rush back. The PGA Tour announcing its 2007 schedule today, and the Shell Houston Open will have a new date next year. The show will now be played the week before the Masters compared to 2 weeks after, like this year's tournament. It will also be sandwiched between the World Golf Championship event at Doral, giving the tournament a chance to attract some pretty big names.
It'll have an effect, I think, very positively on our field. You know, there's a lot of those players that are marquee players around the world now. It's you know, golf's a very global game, so we think it'll be positive for us.
The Shell Houston Open with a new course this year. Those dates, April 17th through 23rd. The next year's tournament moves to March 26th through April 1st. Today, Rice head coach Todd Graham introducing Paul Randolph as the Owls' new defensive coordinator. He will try and turn around the Owls' defense, which ranked 110 out of 117 Division I teams. Randolph most recently coached the defensive line at Alabama.
My goal here, of course, must line up with Coach Graham's goal, which is to bring winning back to Rice University. And there's only one way that I know how to do that, and that's with excitement, with hard work, with discipline, and last but not least, character.
Well, Sunday will mark the 34th running of the Houston Marathon, and the majority of the contestants have spent countless hours training for this big event. We met one who says her daily life as a mom helps her get prepared. As a mother of 4 small children, including 2-year-old triplets, Katie Desautel is always on the run.
All day with the kids can burn you out sometimes.
So when she wants a break, Desautel hits the road to go running. And this Sunday, she will try and complete her first ever marathon.
I mean, the marathon is pretty big task, and I just really never thought I could do it. And then, you know, other things happening, college and this and that. And then, anyways, I had a son, and then 2 years later had triplets. And then at that point, that's when I decided I could probably do just about anything.
This will also fulfill a goal Desautel set for herself 25 years ago.
I ran half of the Houston Marathon when I was 16 just because I wanted to. About the time I finished the half marathon, the finishers of the marathon were coming in. So, and then at that time I decided one day I'll run the marathon.
And of course we want to wish her good luck. Got me just tired watching her running today.
Gets me tired thinking of her running after the triplets.
No, no. Well, after nearly a month of hype, last night's Rose Bowl delivered one of the best college football games in history, especially if you're a Texas fan. Second-ranked Horns not intimidated by number 1 USC, and why should they be with a guy like Vince Young on the field? All he did last night against the Trojans was throw for 267 yards and run for 200. The former Madison star helping Texas erase a 12-point deficit in the fourth quarter. Young with a 17-yard touchdown to pull Texas within 5. Then, after USC failed to convert on a 4th and 2 with 2 minutes to go in the game, Young conducts a game-winning drive that he caps with an 8-yard touchdown run on 4th and 5. He didn't win the Heisman, but Vince Young leads the Horns to a 41-38 win over Southern Cal, ending their 34-game winning streak and giving Texas its first national title in 35 years.
As one of the leaders of the University of Texas football team, it feels real good because I just know how much hard work we put in just to get to this point, and I'm just proud of my seniors to let them guys go out like this.
It was a great football game. It was really surreal when you're sitting there in the fourth quarter and you're down by 2 scores and you still think you're going to win. And you're playing a team that's won 34 straight games, and you're at their place, and momentum's turned, and your defense is struggling. But we never, ever really thought we would lose the ball game.
Texas and USC changing places in the final AP poll. Penn State, Ohio State, and West Virginia rounding out the top 5, 6 through 10. LSU, Virginia Tech, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Georgia. The Texans coaching search continues today as owner Bob McNair and other staff members interview 2 possible candidates to be the next head coach. One of them already has head coaching experience. Al Saunders was the head coach at San Diego from 1986 to 88. He interviewed in 2001 with Houston in their inaugural coaching search. Saunders is currently the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, where he has been for 15 years. Under his direction, Kansas City has been the NFL's top offensive team for the last 2 seasons. He sees no reason the Texans can't have the same success with their current talent.
There's some places where they can use some help, but it's certainly good enough to be much better than 32nd in the league in offense. And, you know, I think we could do a great deal to move those guys up significantly.
The Texans also interviewed Kippy Brown today. He spent the last 4 seasons as Houston's wide receivers coach. During his time, he has helped in the development of players like Andre Johnson, who made the Pro Bowl in his 2nd season. Brown believes his knowledge of the team could be an advantage in the selection process.
I think I have a better feel for what we need to do to become a playoff team than anybody coming in here. So that's the main thing. I know the personnel. I think the players would rally behind me. I think to have the support of our core team, and that was part of the thing that I tried to sell.
Seattle running back Shaun Alexander has been named the NFL's MVP by the Associated Press. He received 19 votes. Peyton Manning of the Indianapolis Colts was 2nd in the voting. Alexander set an NFL record with 28 touchdowns this past season. The Rockets in the middle of a 3-game road trip, and tonight they find themselves in Cleveland to face off against King James and the Cavaliers. LeBron James coming off a triple-double last night, knocking down the 3 here in the first quarter to tie the game at 7. T-Mac driving for 2 of his 23 first-half points, and the Rockets lead it 19-14. Luther Head starting the second quarter off with a 3-ball of his own. He had 8 first-half points coming off the bench. Rafer Alston, he's been huge since coming back to the lineup. Another 3 for the Rockets here. This one now in the 4th. Houston up 77-69. Tonight at Autry Court, Rice plays host to Princeton. The Owls looking to snap a 2-game losing skid first half. Morris Allman knocks down the jumper. Owls lead it by 2. Later in the half, Lorenzo Williams He drills the three, finished with 12 points in the game. Then it's Allman on the baseline. He's the high scorer tonight for the Owls. 21 points tonight for Morris Allman. The Owls cruise to a 52-41 win. And after that game, Princeton and Rice players voluntarily doing calculus problems on the court.
They can.
A lot of smart
Here's a
kids.
big problem. Vince Young has a big decision to make.
There's no doubt that Carol Garner is the backbone behind the Astros skipper, and she's got more than one reason to be happy that the Astros are in the World Series. She's the first lady of Astros baseball, always ready to lend a helping hand in the place she's called home for more than 20 years. Carol Garner has already experienced a World Series, but says this time around has been very special.
Elation doesn't exactly describe it. I don't know that I've found the adjectives that can describe that feeling. And to be here now as a player's wife and as a manager's wife, I feel like before I was watching Phil and now I'm watching all my children. So it's a little bit of a different feeling, but it just has been fantastic.
Another source of Garner's pride comes from Minute Maid Park playing host to the World Series. As part of the Harris County Sports Authority, she helped in the design of one of the best parks in baseball.
I was one of 12 on the committee along with a chairman that worked very hard, all for zero paycheck, to make sure that it was a good experience for the fans. We wanted to make this ballpark a place that the fans could come to and say, that is a great place to see a ball game.
As for the last 15 months, it's been a wild ride for Carol Garner, but she's not quite ready for the end.
We were out of baseball and considered ourselves retired at the time that they called, and I don't think we would have come back for anybody but Houston. And the very fact that it is our home, it's our place, it's where we live, and he was able to come back and do it here in Houston, that just makes it just magnifies it by so much that it's just infinitesimal.
And we caught up with Carol Garner earlier today at the Astros Habitat for Humanity project, and just like all the other thousands of Astros fans inside, she's inside cheering on the Astros and hoping they can get their first win in the World Series. Yeah, Jorge, a sellout, standing room only crowd tonight here at Minute Maid Park. Everybody lining up to see Roger Rocket Clemens pitching once again for the Houston Astros. Fans excited about seeing the Rocket back on the mound for his 23rd Major League season, and Clemens may have been a little amped himself. Can't handle the chopper in the first from Luis Castillo, and that is an error for the Rocket, but he gets out of the inning, striking out Joe Mauer, who leads the majors with the best batting average. With 2 on in the second, Clemens gets Jason Bartlett swinging for strike 3 to also get out of the inning. Clemens running into some trouble in the third, already down 1-0, gives up a base hit to Michael Kadire, RBI single to center, scoring Jason Kubel, and the Twins lead at 2-0. Clemens leaving after 5 innings of work, throws exactly 100 pitches. He gives up 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 4 strikeouts. This one right now in the 8th, actually 4-2. The Astros down 2 runs. Jason Lane just hit a 2-run homer. But once again, the problem for Roger Clemens, pitches a pretty good game, but not much run support for the Rocket. Reporting live from Minute Maid Park, Ray Fisher, Houston's WB Sports.
Out of it. Out of white.
Number 1 in the state and number 1 in the nation for the Elkins baseball team. But success is something the Knights are familiar with.
We've got talented kids and we work hard. And you add those together and that's got to come up with success.
A big part of the Knights' success has been the 1-2 punch of James Loney and Wardell Starling. This tandem gets it done at the plate and on the mound. Starling and Loney both have 8-0 records on the mound and have combined to knock in 72 runs for the Knights.
To have two-way guys is real good for high school and college because you get that extra bat in the lineup, which is great. James been swinging the stick phenomenally this year.
It's been fun, you know, because, I mean, we're both driving in runs, you know, setting up the other guys behind us. They're getting good hits. Our lineup's pretty strong this year, you know, so, I mean, this is the best team I've seen overall in a long time.
These two future major leaguers perform similar on the field, but when asked what excites them most in a game, their answers were very different.
Well, hitting the home run, because it's harder.
Striking out somebody out in the big game, that might be more exciting.
Starling has committed to play at San Diego State and Loney to Baylor, but neither is expected to spend time on the college diamond. Both are projected to be high picks in the Major League Draft.
Here we go.
Ray Fisher, WB 39 Sports.